Kate Mila Falcha, which is another way of saying you're all very welcome to join us for our Irish television broadcast tonight.
Coming up tonight, we have a very popular group, the Celtic Airs. Tom O'Donnell will be talking with Martin Hayes and Paul McCul.
The Gaelic football season is now open in Chicago, and our reporters were at Gaelic Park to record the form for the summer.
Right now it's music time. And here's an opening song from Martin and Paul.
We're going to continue this time. I'm going to do a song for you. It tells a story of the plight of the young people who are leaving Ireland present day to come to the likes of America, Australia and other parts of Europe. It's not because of the troubles or because of the famine. It's very simply because of the situation of unemployment in Ireland that they have to leave to find work. The song is called The Flight of Earls. I can hear the bells of Dublin in this lonely waiting room, and the paper boys are singing in the rain. Not too long before they'll take us to the airport and the noise to get on board the transatlantic flights. There's nothing left to stay for, there's no more left to say, and there isn't any work for us to do. So farewell, you boys and girls, another bloody flight of earls. Our best asset is our best export too. It's not murder, fear or famine that makes us leave this time. We're not going to join McAlpine's Fusiliers. We've got brains and we've got vision, we've got education too, but we just can't throw away these precious years. So we'll walk the streets of London and the streets of Baltimore, and we'll meet at night in several Boston bars. We're the leaders of the future, but we're far away from home, and we dream of you beneath the iron stars. As we look on Ellis Island, or the Lady in the Bay, as Manhattan turns to face another Sunday, we just wonder what you're doing to bring us all back home, as we look forward to another Monday. For it's not the work that scares us, we don't mind an honest job, and we know things will get better once again. So 1,000 times adieu, we've got Bono and you too. All we're missing is the Guinness and the rain.
Mm-hmm.
So switch off your new computers. The writing's on the wall, and we're leaving as our fathers did before. Take a look at Dublin Airport, or the boat that leaves North Wall. There'll be no more youth unemployment anymore. For we're over here in Queensland and parts of New South Wales, on the airways and the seas and the trains. But if we see better days, those big airplanes go both ways, and we'll all be coming back to you again. But if we see better days, those big airplanes go both ways, and we'll all be coming home to you again.
The Irish American Heritage Center, located at 4626 North Knox Avenue in Chicago, was incorporated in 1976 for the purpose of establishing a permanent center to provide the facilities necessary to recognize and strengthen the proud heritage of Chicago's Irish community. Only through the generous help of area volunteers does the work at the center get accomplished. Through the donated time and efforts of the local tradesmen and craftsmen, the center is gradually transforming into a cornerstone for Chicago's Irish community. The center offers full banquet and theater facilities, plus classes such as traditional dancing and music. So enrich your life by becoming a member of the Irish American Heritage Center, located at 4626 North Knox Avenue. For more information, please call the center at 282-7035.
Before we hear another song from the Celtic Airs, this coming Wednesday, June the 16th, is one of the most colourful and attractive events in the literary history of Ireland. It is, of course, the traditional Bloomsday, when we celebrate James Joyce's epic Ulysses, a cornerstone in Irish literature. I want to take this opportunity to add our salute to one of our great Irishmen, who helped start a new era of Irish writing. Now here's Martin and Paul.
We're going to continue this time. We're going to do a song for you. It's one that's called The Jolly Beggar Man. Well, it's off a jolly beggar man, dripping o'er the plain. He came unto the farmer's door in the lodging for to gain. Well, the farmer's daughter, she came down, viewed him cheek and chin. She said, he is a handsome man, pray you'll take him in. I'll go no more roving in the night. I'll go no more roving, let the moonlight shine so bright. Well, he would not lay within the barn, yet within the pyre, but down beside the kitchen fire the jolly beggar lay. Oh, and when the beggar's bed was made, good clean sheets and hay, down beside the kitchen fire that jolly beggar lay. I'll go no more roving in the night. I'll go no more roving, let the moon shine so bright. When the daughter, well, when she come down to bolt the kitchen door, 'cause there she saw the beggar standing naked on the floor. Well, the beggar took her in his arms, to the bed he ran. Kind sir, she said, be quiet now, till waken my good man. I'll go no more roving in the night. I'll go no more roving, let the moon shine so bright. Well, she said, you are no gentleman, you're some beggar man, and you have stole my maidenhead. I am quite undone. I am the lord, I am the squire, beggars I be one, and beggars are all robbers now. You are quite undone. I'll go tomorrow and roving in the night. I'll go tomorrow and let the moon shine so bright. Here we go. But she took the bed within her arms, threw it at the wall, said, go with you, the beggar man, my maidenhead and all. I'll go tomorrow and roving in the nights. I'll go tomorrow and let the moon shine so bright. I'll go no more roving. Thank you.
For the best in traditional Irish entertainment, join your friends at the Abbey Pub, the home of Irish television, Chicago, located at 3420 West Grace. The Abbey offers a wide variety of activities, including the best of Irish musicians from around the world. So whether you're in the mood for great live entertainment or just a friendly game of darts, you can find it and more at the Abbey Pub on the corner of Grace and Elston. Open weekdays from noon till 2 a.m., Saturdays till 3 a.m.
You know, over the past couple of weeks, we've been watching a variety of featured artists in the interview hot seat with our music director, Martin Hayes.
Well, this week the spotlight switches to Martin himself. As you know, we're featuring his own band, the Celtic Airs.
Now, all fans of the Celtic Airs know that Martin's other half in the Airs is Paul McCul. Paul is a shy young lad. That's right, it says shy young lad from Belfast. But Martin has persuaded him to give us this exclusive interview tonight.
Hi, this is Tom O'Donnell sitting in for Martin Hayes with our feature group, which includes Martin Hayes, the reason I'm sitting in. How you doing, Martin?
Oh, fine, Tom. Thank you.
Martin and Paul McCul are the Celtic Airs, and they have been playing for us. Martin, we know you from the show, so maybe you we could just basically, you were a two-time fiddle champion in Ireland, correct?
Yeah. Well, we won it all right a few times.
You've done all right for yourself.
Yeah.
And you certainly have done wonders on our show here. And Paul, you've been playing with Martin for how long now with the Celtic Airs?
The Celtic Airs has been going now for about 2 years, just over 2 years, maybe 2 years, 3 months. We formed the group. We've been playing all over America at the moment. We do the likes of St. Paul down in Texas, and also, of course, here in your own Abbey.
Well, there you go. Now, Martin, you're from Clare.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Now, is that where you got your musical influences for the fiddle? And
Yeah, I was. In fact, my father was a fiddle player, and he used to have a band back there, and I started off at the age of 14, I think it was, most weekend nights,
yeah,
heading off playing in the band, you know, so that's how I got introduced to music, and there was always music in the household, and visiting musicians and that kind of thing, so that's where the interest developed from.
Now, Paul, you're from Belfast. Did you start? Did your musical influences come from Belfast?
Oh yeah, very much so. Places like one of the famous places, which is known worldwide, was a bar called Kelly's, which had some of the best traditional Irish music in Ireland that ever happened. And it was just, I used to go there every Wednesday night. That's where the session was. So we all gathered there, drank a few pints, and played music. And also it was the folk clubs, which are very prominent in the north of Ireland. I guess because of the Troubles and because being suppressed in other ways, that we hold our music very dearly, especially the folk music and traditional music in Ulster.
Now, a lot of Irish Americans wonder what attracted you to come to the States. So is it different here? Musically, is it different? Do you enjoy playing in the States? You want Martin?
Well, we came for the want of employment, really, at the beginning, but we enjoy playing here. I mean, we've managed to make a very successful living in this country, and well, within reason.
I think it was the weather for me. Seeing the suntan, huh?
Well, you play a very beautiful song, "The Fight of the Earls," which is about young Irish coming all over the world, and I think it certainly strikes a chord with many of us that you come here for the opportunities, and I guess my question would be, what do you enjoy the American audiences?
Oh, very much so. very much so. They're an easier audience than the Irish audience to please. I don't mean that in the wrong way, but they're a fun people. They enjoy life to a great degree, and of course that makes it our job easier to try and entertain them. So we get a lot of value out of the American people and also the country that we play in.
When you play now, you've played the Abbey quite often now. Do you enjoy playing here in Chicago?
Oh yeah, I mean we spend we live in Chicago and we spend the most amount of the year here, so we got a huge Irish population in this town. So it's a good town for us to play. It's a good town.
Well, certainly we're going to hear a lot more from you. So this is Tom O'Donnell with Irish Television Chicago with our featured group, the Celtic Airs, which features our own Martin Hayes and Paul McCul. Back to you.
We're going to do a little song for you this time. It's one that tells of the beauty of living in Ireland, particularly the west coast of Ireland, in and around Galway and Dingle. It's very simply entitled A Song for Ireland. Walking all the day near tall towers where falcons build their nest. Silver winged they fly, and they know the call of freedom in their breast. I watched the blackhead against the sky and twisted rocks that run down to the sea. Oh, living on your western shore, soft summer sunset, ask for more. I stood by your Atlantic Sea and I sang a song for Ireland. Talking all the day, true friends would try to make you stay, telling jokes and news and singing songs to pass the time away. I watched the Galway salmon run like silver dancing, darting in the sun. Oh, living on your western shore, soft summer sunset, ask for more. I stood by your Atlantic Sea and I sang a song for Ireland. Drinking all the day at old pubs where fiddlers love to play. I saw him touch the bow and played a reel that seemed so bright and gay. I stood in Dingle Beach and cast a while from where we found Atlantic Pass. Oh, living on your western shore, soft summer sunset, ask for more. Stood by your Atlantic Sea, I sang a song for Ireland. Dreaming in the night, and I saw a land where no man has to fight. and walking in your dawn, and I saw you crying in the morning sun. Oh, living where the falcons fly, they turn and twist all in your clear blue skies. Oh, living on your western shore, soft summer sunset, ask for more. I stood by your Atlantic sea, I sang a song.
Good evening. The McBride Principles to Combat Employment Discrimination in the North of Ireland was passed by an Illinois Senate committee last Wednesday. The Senate chamber was packed to capacity for the hearing by representatives of Irish American organizations who traveled to Springfield to show their support for the bill. Witness for the proposition, Father Sean McManus of the Irish National Caucus, outlined the ongoing discrimination which he said has been British government policy since the formation of the statelet in 1922. Father McManus said the principles were of a unifying nature. Already in the U.S., they had acquired bipartisan support and had been endorsed by leaders of all Christian faiths. Mr. John Cushnahan, former leader of the Alliance Party and now a member of the Northern Ireland Industrial Development Board, spoke against the adoption of the bill. Denying that he was a spokesperson on behalf of the British government, Mr. Cushnahan went on to say that he objected to the bill because he interpreted the principles as a means to introduce reverse discrimination into Northern Ireland, which would be illegal under Northern Ireland legislation. He said the principles would create a hassle factor which would dissuade possible future U.S. investors. The bill was finally passed by 15 votes to 3. The 3 senators who voted against the bill said they have not been convinced that adoption and implementation of the McBride principles was the appropriate remedy for the obvious discrimination. The principles have one more stage to go before Illinois becomes the 9th state to formally endorse the McBride guidelines. A new report just published by the Farm Commission of the EEC claims that direct and immediate action must be taken if the complete disintegration of rural living is to be stopped. Franz Andresen, the Farm Commissioner, said the greater part of the blame lies with the closure of village schools. He said the village schools was a traditional community lodestone and an important cultural and social forum. The closing of such schools prompts families to move to city areas, promoting depopulation and the eventual death of rural life. This report has particular application to the current Irish situation. In recent years, severe cutbacks in educational spending has forced many small country schools to close. This, combined with the increasing lack of job opportunity and immigration, is effectively tolling the death knell for traditional small Irish communities. Mr. Anderson said that the EEC must develop a complete strategy to combat this problem. This would involve the establishment of regional development offices, encouragement for rural craft industries, grant schemes to improve housing, and a positive campaign to keep small schools open. The Irish government has announced its decision to sell the famous Kilkenny design shops. It is expected that a combination group of the employees and craft workers would attempt to bid for the shops if the appropriate financing backing was available. The news has shocked many small craft studios throughout the country who rely on the Kilkenny Design Group to market their goods. Mr. Michael Jackson of the Craft Council of Ireland said the loss of the shops would be disastrous to small concerns, but he hoped a joint management-supplier takeover package would be successful. In recent years, the shops have experienced growing competition from Stephen Pierce Limited and the Blarney Woolen Mills. The Minister for the Environment has revealed a £8 million plan to attack the sewage problem in historic Dublin Bay. Recent tourism reports show that visitors to Ireland, and to Dublin in particular, are distressed and disappointed that the atmosphere pollution level is so high. Reports indicate that unless steps are taken to remedy this, there will be direct repercussions in the tourist industry. The government has already received EEC warnings that the lead levels in the capital city are far above the permitted guidelines. Well, summertime may have officially started on Memorial Day, but for the Irish in Chicago, summertime began with the Gala Irish Festival at Gaelic Park. Hundreds of people of all ages flocked to the South Side to take part in one of the biggest celebrations of Irish music and sports ever seen in Chicago. International entertainers Brendan Grace and Paddy Riley were among a host of top-quality show people who shared the stage with local musicians from the Irish scene. The weather fully reflected the luck of the Irish. Glowing sunshine and clear skies favored Gaelic Park for the duration of the festival, and the many happy, suntan faces were testimony to the outstanding success of the venture. The organizers are already planning next year's festival. That's the news for tonight. I'm Mike Shevlin. Good night.
You know, in the many years that I've been frequenting Irish bars in search of good music, I think I've heard this next song requested more often than any other that comes to mind.
Particularly in Chicago, Steve. This is a firm favorite among the many fans of the Celtic airs.
So, here's Paul and Martin to sing Black Velvet Band.
We want to do a song for you this time. It's the song is called the Black Velvet Band, but it's the much more older traditional version of the song. Hope you enjoy it. It's a version that I picked up a few years ago. Song say goes something like this. Well, one day as I went for a ramble, alone by the docks I did stray. I met with a gay deceiver who happened to pass by my way. Her eyes, they did shine like the diamonds. I thought her the pride of our land. Her hair, it hung over her shoulders. It was tied with the black velvet band. It was there in port where we anchored. She said, I'm her own love and joy. Was then she proposed at our meeting that I be her own loving boy. For her eyes, they did shine like the diamonds. I thought her the pride of our lands, and her hair, it hung over her shoulders. It was tied with the black velvet bands. Next day I was hunted and captured, and alone in the dock I did stand, found guilty of robbing and killing, betrayed by my black velvet bands. For her eyes, they did shine like the diamonds, and I thought her the pride of our lands. Her hair, it hung over her shoulders. It was tied with the black velvet bands. So farewell to my parents and family. I'm bound for Van Diemen's lands. Farewell to my friends and relations, and beware of that black velvet bands. For her eyes, they did shine like the diamonds, and I thought her the pride of our lands. Her hair, it hung over her shoulders. It was tied with the black velvet bands.
Yes, her eyes, they did shine like the diamonds. I thought her the pride of our lands. Her hair it hung over her shoulders. It was tied with the black velvet band.
This is Eamonn Kelly with the weekly review of Irish sports. Apart from Ireland's preparation for the European Soccer Championship starting next week, provincial championship hurling and football games provided the major sports attractions in Ireland last weekend. In the Munster Hurling Championship, current title holders and favourites Tipperary advanced to the provincial final with a 7-point win over old rivals Limerick at Cork, 15 points to 8 points. While Tipperary's victory was well deserved, many of their supporters who have very high expectations for total success this year must be somewhat unhappy with the overall display of the Tipperary forward line. In a game that can be best described as mediocre by Munster Championship standards before a crowd of 32,000 people, Tipperary no doubt deserved their victory. So great was their superiority over their opponents that a 14 or 15-point margin would not have been flattering. Due to great defensive work and complete dominance in centre field, Tipperary led throughout the game. An example of the great performance put up by their defence was the fact that goalkeeper Ken Hogan, credited with a shutout, did not have to make one save during the course of the game. With the great Nicholas English out with a leg injury and also Tom Fox out with an injury, the Tipperary forward line was lacking the firepower usually associated with some of their recent victories. An example of the lack of scoring power was the fact that Tipperary registered 21 wides in the game, a record that could lead to a defeat in a much closer contest, such as a Munster final. That provincial final will be played, by the way, in Limerick on July 17th between Tipperary and the winners of the Cork versus Clare semi-final contest. All-Ireland football champions Meath put on a typical champions performance against near neighbours Louth at Drogheda last week. Meath defeated Louth by 13 points, 3 goals and 13 points to 9 points, with a performance that was very close to that witnessed against Dublin in the National Football League final. This latest display by Meath is an indication of their ambition to retain the title of All-Ireland champions. Much was expected of Louth because of their impressive league campaign, but Meath's superiority just, in fact, kept them out of the game. In fact, at times it degenerated into a very pulling and dragging affair, as is common with neighbourhood rivalries, resulting in the referee awarding 53 frees in the course of the game. While this victory sets Meath on their way to the defence of their All-Ireland crown, they may have to do so without the services of their great wing-back Brendan Riley, who sustained a very serious shoulder injury last week. He could be out of action for the remainder of the season. Meath has now qualified for the Leinster football semi-final on July 3rd against either Kildare or Offaly, who tied last week. And the final score in that game, by the way, was Kildare 1 goal and 10 points to Offaly's 13 points. With this game ending in a tie, it creates a scheduling problem for the Leinster Council. The ideal date for the replay would be June the 19th, but the Offaly hurling semi-final is on that particular day. Actually, the Kildare-Offaly game may not have ended in a draw had the game gone to its normal duration. Apparently, the referee blew the final whistle after only 57.5 minutes in the second half. As for the game itself, it was only of mediocre standard, with too many misguided placed balls and poor finishing by both sets of forwards. And the other Leinster football quarter-final, Longford defeated Wicklow by 8 points, 1 goal and 15 points to 2 goals and 4 points. This game produced a wide variety of football fare. There were some brilliant patches, but there were also periods of scrappy football. The awarding of 67 free kicks throughout the course of the game somewhat impeded the enjoyment. While Wicklow battled with great heart, they were unable to match the experience of Longford, who at times played delightful football, similar to the same type of fare displayed in the recent league campaign. Tyrone are back with a bang in the Ulster Football Championship with a very impressive 4-goal win over Antrim, with the final score of 3 goals and 13 points and 2 goals and 4 points. Last year's unexpected failure by Tyrone in the Ulster Championship after a very promising run in 1986 Championship was a bitter disappointment to their many fans. However, those same fans were treated to a spectacular display of Gaelic football by their favourites at Omagh last week. 2 years ago, Tyrone gave some great performances against Antrim, was as good as not better than any of their 1986 performances. Antrim started off in great style and dominated proceedings for the first 5 minutes. From that point on, Tyrone settled down to take over complete control in almost all areas of the field. Their distribution of the ball and their movement of their forwards was just great to watch. If this great performance is any indication of their real ability, then this Tyrone team will provide a great challenge to this year's major All-Ireland contenders. London entered a senior football team in the Connacht Championship and were normally defeated by Sligo 2 goals and 13 points and 2 goals and 10 points at Ruislip last Sunday. Sligo have qualified to meet either Leitrim or Mayo on July 3rd. And that's it for Gaelic sports from Ireland, and we must again, of course, remind you that games here in Chicago will be played at Gaelic Park every Sunday. With this is Eamonn Kelly saying good evening until next Monday night.
This month has seen an upsurge in positive hopes for world peace. A peace based on justice through the extermination of civil rights violations. However, while world attention has been focused on the struggle for human rights in the Soviet Union, we here in the Irish American community of Illinois have been working towards a remedy of civil rights violations in another less publicized corner of the Western world. Last Wednesday, concerned groups from the entire Irish American spectre traveled to Springfield, Illinois to show their support for Bill number 1374 in the Illinois Senate. The subject of the bill was the McBride Principles, an outline of principles drawn up by Nobel winner Sean McBride to end employment discrimination in the north of Ireland. The seething violence which has become the tragedy of Northern Ireland is headline news for today's story, hungry media. But the more subtle forms of violence practiced against the minority population have gone unnoticed for too long. British government statistics admit that a Catholic living in the north of Ireland is 2.5 times more likely to be unemployed than a Protestant of the same educational background. Several British statutes have been passed attempting to remedy the situation. However, in practice they have proved to be ineffective and half-hearted. U.S. firms investing in the 6 counties have to work within the existing situation, which embodies a policy which has discriminated against Catholics at a hiring level since the formation of the present state. The McBride Principles have been endorsed by church leaders of all faiths, the British Labour Party and the British Congress of Trade Unions. All Irish American organizations are united in their support for these principles. The British government has reportedly spent $100,000 in the state of Illinois alone in an attempt to defeat the adoption of the bill. Mrs. Thatcher's government has now been forced to introduce a new white paper on fair employment because of the support for the McBride Principles. This white paper is vague and has no set timetable. The British government has already had their cracks at employment legislation. Are we to take another gamble on 4th time lucky? The McBride Principles have one more stage to go before complete adoption in the state of Illinois. We urge our politicians and state leaders to make the dream of civil rights a reality for all. We urge them to work for the adoption of the McBride Principles. We call on the media to play a full informatory role, to bring blatant discrimination to the attention of the public. Unemployment is a very unnecessary evil. Unemployment, because of unwarranted discrimination, leads to suspicion, bitterness, and eventually leads to the path of violence. We believe the McBride principles will be a positive step towards a new era of recognized and respected human rights and the long-awaited peace in the north of Ireland.
But now it's time to relax and forget the serious world of politics and listen to a rousing tune from the Celtic Airs.
Okay. We're going to continue this time with a little reel. It's one called The Star of Munster.
Good evening, I'm Bridge Looney, and I'd like to share with you the upcoming events at the Irish American Heritage Centre. Remember, the Irish American Heritage Centre is here to serve the community. Why not plan your next party at the Irish American Heritage Centre? There are several party rooms available and the prices are reasonable. For more information, call the centre daily between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. The phone number is 282-7035.
My thanks to the Celtic Airs and all that's joined us on the show tonight. If you've enjoyed the crack, please tune in again next week.
We'll see you then, same time next week.
Paul and Martin will close us out tonight. Meanwhile, thank you for watching Irish Television Chicago.
So thanks for joining us. Have a good night and a happy week. Ter Slán.
So long.
We're going to continue this time with a little tune. It's one called The Mason's Apron. It's we're going to play two versions of it. We're going to play a more modern 4-part version first to begin with, and then we're going to continue with the older version, which is just a 2-part version. So we hope you enjoy this, our version of tune 1 called The Mason's Apron.